Yo, 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 what up, guys? How's it going? It's the Kings. We're back for episode 4.
Hey everybody, we finally made it back. Episode 4, and we are testing a new, what is it, setup?
Yeah, I guess you could call it a new platform, multi-streaming platform. So we're actually both live on YouTube and Instagram. Also, the sound quality should be better. So if you've been watching our previous episodes, there's been a couple complaints on that. But if you haven't seen them, go back and watch them. They don't sound too bad. It's not nothing crazy. But this should fix that too. And
And
yeah,
now we're able to bring in guests, uh, what, up to 6 people. So if we get an event where uh, we might want somebody joining us, we can. So we'll see how that goes.
yep, yep. And so I think so. Like I said, we're live on YouTube and Instagram. I did read somewhere on there, or when I was setting up the lives and all that, Instagram might be cut off a little bit because the way this platform streams out, it has two options. It's widescreen like normal, or it's vertical. And so Instagram normally does everything vertical. So if you're on Instagram and it looks funky and you don't like it, and you want to watch and not just listen, go over to YouTube. YouTube should be fine. And then, like I said, and not like I said, I haven't said it yet, but don't forget to like and subscribe, YouTube, and then also on Instagram. Follow us, and so you can stay updated.
For sure. Let me log into Instagram, see how it looks.
Okay.
We might get a
Yeah.
better idea.
Okay. Yeah. And in the meantime, like, so I know there was a couple posts about having a guest speaker today. Unfortunately, due to some unforeseen events, we're gonna have to reschedule that. So if you're here for that, I'm sorry, but we have some good stuff today anyway. Um, we're gonna be going over some suggested topics from the audience. If you have not visit our website 2madkings.com, and you can scroll to the bottom and give your suggestions and have us talk about something that you want us to talk about, right? So that's what we're going to be doing on this one. And do you want me to introduce the first topic, Cesar, or do you want to introduce it?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so we had somebody in the audience not a couple months back, actually a little bit over a month, but not too much. Give us some great suggestions, and one of the biggest things was how to keep a relationship strong. Man, that's
Ooh.
that's a that's right there,
This might be a two-parter. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean, because I guess relationship is very broad, right? So are we talking about like a loving relationship where you have it's so hard nowadays, right? Where you have a man and a woman, right? That kind of relationship, or like a friendship, um,
Or
or
yeah,
just
your
whatever,
family member. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny that that's a good question, and that I'm thinking about that because Cesar, you mentioned something on the weekend that one of the reasons that we started this podcast was because you were moving away, and this was a way that we were going to continue to, be together. So like that's one
Yeah.
way to keep a relationship.
So typically people will ask, "What's it about?" And it really, we really didn't have like a one topic that we were kind of sticking to. So I just told them that it's about hanging out, like having a conversation, hanging out, and the whole thing just kind of really came about because we talked about it in the past, but it really never really happened until I moved. So I moved away, and that's kind of where, yeah, yeah, like this whole thing was just to kind of hang out and trying to keep that. So in a way, yes, to keep that relationship going.
So
Um,
basically, what we're getting out of this is to keep a relationship alive, start a podcast.
that's one way of doing it.
No, but that's a great question, and I mean, I got a couple answers to that, but I kind of want to hear your thoughts on it.
So it does take a little effort. Um, I think if you really feel like a relationship with another person, a friend, a coworker, whatever, it's worth you cultivating. It takes some extra work, and I think that's where we drop the ball. Right? We always just expect. everyone else to do their part, but we don't. Maybe we don't do our part to keep that relationship going. So I know we kind of created a podcast just to have an excuse to hang out, right? Just like I tell everyone, I created a channel on a gaming channel just to have an excuse to play. Um, but it does take some extra effort, and it's not. I wouldn't say it doesn't come natural. It has. There's certain things you can do, um, and it all depends on what kind of relationship you're talking about.
Yeah. So I think that was one thing that we should probably specify, right? Like, let's talk about, or do you have a choice? Because I would prefer to start, you know, a man and woman or a loving relationship. That'd probably be a good start, right?
Yeah, and that's probably the one that we're all thinking about.
Sure.
A What would you call it?
Man, I don't know, bro. Like,
A love
for anybody
relationship.
that doesn't fucking know, all this all these premium stuff, right? LGBTQ plus the premium. Like, I don't give a fuck about it, but it's not something that I'm all about. So for me, when I think of a relationship, I think a man, a woman.
Okay, so let's say a traditional relationship.
Oh, there you go. That's a good way to put it.
So a traditional relationship, there's definitely a lot of I can say learning that goes into it.
So
A lot of
one big
trial and error, I would say.
so one big thing that I always tell people, or like I always think about when it comes to a relationship, and like I said, like we've said, right, this goes into everything, but really, this traditional relationship is it's never 50-50, right? Like, a lot of people have that mentality of like 50-50, but think about what that really means. That means you're giving 50% of your effort into that relationship. Well, what's the other 50% going to? Right? So a relationship is always going to be 100, right? Percent of what you're giving. And then when you split everything else, not what you're giving, but like everything else, like the chores and the duties and maybe money and all this other stuff, it starts being, 80-20 some days, 10-90 some other days, 60
Right.
40 one day.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's 100-0. Sometimes the other person just can't that day. That day is just like, don't fucking look at me,
That's a
or
great
I'm
way to
done.
put it. Yes. Uh you will have those moments, and I think the other way of looking at it is if you're expecting a 50-50, um you're expecting somebody from the other person, right? And if you start looking at a relationship like that where you're expecting something from somebody else, you're gonna be disappointed.
All the
So I
time.
agree. I think it's 100, and like you said, some days might be lower, some might be higher. Um, and I know we've had this conversation before. Like you can't expect something from somebody, right? Um,
Yeah.
like you
And I
can't
mean, we
expect you can't expect to be happy and give that responsibility to somebody else.
yeah, because your happiness should come from yourself, right? Your happiness should be, because, okay, so like I tell people also, right? Like, you can't love somebody if you don't love yourself. I really believe that. And so that's kind of with everything,
One
right? You
hundred
can't be
percent.
happy if you're not content with yourself, right? Like, there's some mm, there's something about it where, let's say you're depressed or you're sad or you're mad. Are you genuinely happy for others? Like, whenever you say you're happy for, I doubt it.
You
I don't I
can't. You
can't
can't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have one with the other.
Yeah, so you have to be good and good with yourself so that you can be good with others, right? And so that's part of being in a relationship is going. You can't, like you said, you can't expect the other person to make you
You gotta be
happy or
self
comfortable
sufficient. Yeah,
or
you gotta
whatever.
be
Yeah,
able to be emotionally strong, physically strong, and just be able to carry yourself. Um,
correct. So now he says, how do you keep a relationship strong? Because I think we're talking. Well, yeah, we're talking about that,
uh,
right? Like, but how do you keep it strong? So, okay, so like we said, first you have to be good with yourself, right? So you have to be good with yourself, and
so I guess you would say emotionally stable.
you'd have to be.
When
Let's
you say
call it.
good,
Let's
when you
say
say good to your, like good to yourself, what does that mean?
let's say not emotionally stable, emotionally aware. How about
Okay.
that?
Yeah.
Because you're not always going to be under control, right? You're not always going to be good to go, like solid,
Yeah,
right? Like
but
there's going to be
for the
days.
most part,
Sure, but clear communication. How about that one?
sure. Do you want to get specific? Yes, clear communication. So what does that look like? What does that look like?
That looks like, hey, I'm thirsty. Okay, what does that mean? That means I'm thirsty. That doesn't mean, hey, can you give me some water? Right? Those are two completely different things that over
You should know
time,
I'm thirsty, and you should know you need to give me some water.
and we'll go into that a little bit. There's a word you're saying there that I want to talk about a little bit later, but this idea of
Oh,
mind
I know what
reading,
you're talking about.
right here, right here.
Yeah,
This idea of mind reading, because you've been together for a year, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, it doesn't work, right? It'll never work.
and I think they make it seem like because you're a man, you're just clueless. But it's not like I said, clear communication, right? So I think over
Sure.
time you learn. Yeah, you might learn a few details about the other person, but you should never expect the other person again to be reading your mind.
Yeah.
Um, and I know
So,
we always complain, right, that I can't read your mind. I don't know what you want, especially when it's like female and male counterparts. Usually, always take on that role, right? One is clueless, and the other one is uh, demanding. I guess you can say.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it's just better for both parties if you just realize that um, there is some need for better communication or just more clear communication.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there's there's just no way. So, okay, I'll go back to my example again, right? Like this, I'm thirsty, right? What does that really mean to me? To me, that means you're thirsty, right? It doesn't mean that you want water. It doesn't mean that you want coffee. It doesn't mean you want soda. It doesn't mean none of that. Because here's the thing, right? Let's say you say I'm thirsty and I bring you water and that's not what you wanted. That's another problem, right?
Yeah. So we just
So
say. So it sounds like you've encountered this specific problem in the past.
I've encountered something similar.
I think we all have,
Um,
right?
yeah, and I mean it's just
If
it's
you let's put it like this: if you've been in a relationship for longer than a certain amount of time, you have definitely encountered very similar situations. I mean,
sure.
we could probably have every guy in America log in and tell you something has happened to them, and it's probably we can all relate. I can tell you that.
Yeah, yeah. And so I think clear communication is one of the biggest things that keeps a relationship strong. That um honesty, right? Like that's another one. Um and I
So
think that's probably
honesty,
one of the
as in
hardest
what,
ones.
like having courage to let the partner know what how you feel.
Well, that goes
Is
I
that
guess they go
honesty?
hand in hand with clear communication.
You don't
What
mean
I
honesty
really
like not cheating, like none of that, right? Obviously, that's.
yes,
I guess I
but
mean, yeah, of course that doesn't help. But what I want to say is what I think you're saying. Honesty is having the honesty to be able to talk to your partner and bring
I guess
uncomfortable conversations to the table.
the
And
better word would be trust, right? Like being able to trust the partner that say you tell them, "Hey, I'm in the hole, because I invested this and it went wrong," or "Hey,
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like
I crashed, the
having the
car,"
courage
or like
to start a uncomfortable conversation.
yeah, and then also like the big thing is trusting that that person isn't going to um I guess overreact, right? For lack of better words.
Yeah.
But that's a big one. And it has to go both ways, right? Like you can't be the only one that's
So I think
trusting.
so. Like one thing I've learned over the years, and like I speak of like from personal experience, you should be able to tell your partner how you feel. And I believe, especially as men, a lot of the times we're not encouraged to do that. Um, but if you are planning on having a long term relationship, you have to learn to do that.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I agree.
I think
It's
there's many factors that keep us from having the skills of talking about our feelings and like letting people know, like setting expectations. And I don't want to make it sound like a work thing, but like setting the expectation for a relationship, like setting a.
no, but it is work,
It is, yeah, yeah, yeah. But what I mean is, yeah, it's a
and and
relationship,
and
but
and there should be expectations,
oh,
but there should
absolutely,
be communicated with each other,
yeah.
right?
But I think if you approach your partner and you just say, "Hey, I have expectations for you," it's just
Mm,
gonna come across as
yeah, I see what you're
insensitive.
saying. So so it kind of goes back to what where I was we were discussing this a little bit this weekend,
Like, might
right?
as well
And
sign a contract and do it like that, right?
yeah, and so one of the things that I had mentioned this weekend was, are you willing to do what I'm willing to do, and vice versa,
Right.
right? And like that's a big one, right? Because you're not gonna ask your partner, um, I don't know, to cook dinner if you're just not ever willing to do that, right? Because it's just not fair. And the idea is that you want to be somewhat fair in this relationship, right? At least I would think so, to make it strong, right? You don't want it to be always one sided because then it gets heavy, right?
So again, it kind of circles back into, do you have the trust and do you have the courage to bring that situation, because you might just be dealing with it, right? You're never gonna bring it up, and it eventually creates resentment, and it's gonna create a problem in the future, right? So that doesn't help.
Yeah,
So going back to our topic, that would not build a stronger relationship, right?
correct, correct. And then here's you said another one that I didn't even think about, but you just said it right now was resentment, not having resentment.
Right.
I know it's hard as people because we're humans and that's just a thing, but you it's kind of like you make your bed, right? Sleep in it, right? So what I'm saying there is if you allow something, anything, if your spouse yelled at you, if your spouse didn't do what you said, if your spouse
Like
walked
I
out
said,
the
it's not being
door,
fair.
yeah,
It
and
really
you
could be
accept
anything.
it, right? Like you don't do something about it, don't hold on to that tomorrow or the next day. Just you made your bed, sleep in that bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big, big thing. A lot of people, oh, well, 2 years ago you did this, or 20 years ago you promised me this, or and it's just like, life happens. There's time where life happens, and sometimes you don't have control over it, right? And sometimes because of that resentment, said person or your spouse, right? Um, they kind of probably add on to it not happening, whatever that it is, right? That was either promised or whatever you did. They probably, let's say I don't know, you
So I think,
yelled at each other, right? And you
yeah,
allowed that, and they keep bringing it up. That's energy that keeps getting put into this relationship to continue yelling at each other. And so, this resentment is just bleh.
and it builds up. It's not, you know, it's gonna keep building up, building up, building up until it gets to a point where then it becomes a bigger problem.
Yeah,
Um, and that's the thing about resentment. If you don't address it right away, like you said, right, you don't have the trust, you don't have a good communication. It's gonna build up, build up, build up until it blows up, and then at that point, it definitely is not gonna help. Stronger relationship, right?
yeah. So we're at three now, right? So we said clear communication, we said trust, that entitles a couple things, and then we're saying no resentment, right? So kind of like forgive and forget type thing, right? So those are three things. Let's see what
That's
else
a
can I
good
think. I
thing.
I got plenty of things.
Oh yeah, there's this lot, right?
Yeah. We you did mention something about expectations, or you said don't expect, but I think what you meant was kind of going back to what I said. Are you willing to do what I'm willing to do? So it's good to have expectations of a person if they're communicated and they're both agreed upon, right? So I use an example about cooking. Say the person just never wants to cook, one of the spouses, right? Never wants to cook. Okay, But let's say, hey, I'll cook forever, but you cut the grass forever. Sure,
Yeah, that works. If that works for that,
if that works for that couple or that relationship. But what you're not gonna say is, hey, you cook forever, and I'm just gonna sit here and wait for dinner
because I just don't like
every
cooking. So you
time.
cook forever.
Yeah, it's like, you know. Oh, on that one, how about sacrifice?
Expand.
So you have to be. Actually, I don't know if you have to be willing to sacrifice. Hmm, how do I expand on that?
I think what you're trying to say is you have to be flexible.
There
Is
you
that right?
go. That's
You
a
gotta be
way better
flexible.
word. Sacrifice sounds negative.
Hey, that's why I'm
Flexible
here, sir.
sounds
That's why I'm
positive.
here.
Shit.
So
Thesaurus.com or what? Flexibility. That's a big one, I think.
sure. And I just had a thought earlier about today. Wait, or just now where you said about the setting expectations. Definitely setting expectations, communicating, being clear. But I think really what I was, or another, what I was thinking when I said that is not relying on that other person, right? Whoever that may be. So when I said like not having expectations, I don't mean not having expectations for the relationship. I mean not relying solely, again, like not relying on that person to keep you happy, say.
Yeah.
So you
No,
shouldn't have the
I see what
expectation
you're
that the other
saying.
person is the one that's gonna, it's not the responsibility. It's nobody's responsibility to keep you happy, first of all, right? So
Yeah.
everybody out there, just let you know it's not nobody's responsibility but your own to keep you happy, right?
Yeah.
Um but that's what I was trying to, or that's one point I was trying to make.
So along those lines, how about accountability?
Ooh. We,
Right?
we say that word at work all the time.
Yeah, that we
And
we
it
we
is one of those things that like accountability, gotta hold people accountable, gotta hold yourself accountable, accountability, and it's a lot that goes into it. And a lot of the times when I say, and I hope some of my coworkers go back and listen to this podcast. When I say accountability, I get this look from their face like,
like
what
what?
is it? Yeah, like what
Yeah.
do you really mean? Like we know what the word means, right? I can
Yeah.
go and look it up and see what the meaning is, but what is it when it pertains to a specific topic like a relationship or work or anything? It's like a deer in the headlights, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's funny that you say that y'all say that at work. I mean, I guess it's funny to me to hear it from you at your level of work, right? Because we talk about it at work, but at my level, I and I hope my bosses don't watch this, but it seems like they don't talk about it there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's just
exactly.
like,
Because when you say accountability, it's a lot of things that go into it, right? It's like I
yeah,
said, is it self accountability, right? Like, are you holding yourself accountable? Is it you holding your team accountable? Is it you holding your team, whoever they're in charge, accountable? So it's a lot of different levels that go into it. But there's also, like building trust, like keeping your word.
yeah,
Like if you're gonna like if you say you're gonna do something, you do it, right? Like that's hard, just as human beings, that's just hard to do. So we just throw that word
is
out
it
there for,
though?
yeah. At
I
least at
so
work it is.
I think because we overpromise. I think that's a thing.
Oh yeah.
I think that's why it's hard
So
because
we
you
overpromise
say,
because we're not. So we need to get better at like knowing ourselves, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I know you should be able to know exactly what you can deliver and you cannot deliver.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, absolutely. I believe people like I tell people that like, I know they mean well,
yeah,
right? They want to do something. They think they're working hard, right?
yeah.
But is it really the most effective way, right? On your point, over over promising, yeah, definitely a thing.
Yeah. So okay, we're at what? We're at clear communication, we're at trust, we're at accountability. Wait, what was number 3? That's accountability was 4, right?
There was expectations. Is that what we said? Oh,
make it
flexibility.
flexibility
Flexibility.
and
Yeah.
accountability. So those four, that if you focus on that, it definitely
Now
helps
let me
build a
let me
stronger
let me throw you
relationship.
a curveball. So
All
I
right.
guess this is like looking at it from a, because there's no women here, so this is from a guy's perspective. So what would you think would be one that would come up if we ask, say, 10 women?
Ooh, and I know a woman's watching
Oh,
right now.
are they? I mean, does
Yeah, yeah,
somebody want to
yeah.
comment? Does somebody want to throw it out there? What?
Actually, I think we got a comment on Instagram. Unfortunately, we didn't see it on here on this platform for some reason.
Shoot, I
Hmm.
thought we were gonna be able to see it here.
We should have been able to. Well, time to beat somebody up. But she said yes, and I don't know what she said yes to because the comments over here. But I know she's watching,
Who is
and
she? And can you let us know? Can you expand on that? Yes, whoever you are.
so wait, what was the question again?
From a female's perspective, what would be the number one topic or one of the topics that would come up?
Based on topic about what though? Like one of the ways to keep a strong relationship? Are you even listening to me?
Oh, okay. So from a female's perspective, so because we don't know, right? Because it's just two guys talking about this. But from a female's perspective, what would be, I guess, the number one or two things that they would think could make a relationship stronger? I guess
So so
I can tell you one right off the bat. That's everybody's thinking.
Dot Love said yes to accountability, and then she said
Okay.
I mean to not overpromise.
Oh, are you feeling that? Is that a low blow? Are your balls hurting
I know what
right
she
now?
means.
So
Um, but so there's also, oh, here goes along with that, right?
wait, hold on
And
before I
it's
forget.
go for it.
Can you relate? And everybody out there, let me know if you can relate.
Um, yeah.
Are you like? Can you hear your woman telling you that
Oh yeah, she
you
says
just
it all the
don't?
time.
You just don't. No, no, no. Listen, I haven't even said it. How do you know?
Oh, okay, go for it, go for
No,
it.
no, I was gonna say because I hear in my mind. Like as soon as I thought about that question, I heard it in my mind. Somebody was telling me like the resonance of being told all the time like you don't do enough. That's like a number one thing. Like you just don't do enough, right? I mean, I can see it in your face. You can relate,
Yeah, no, 100%,
and it could be
100%.
anything. Like you just don't do enough, right?
Yeah,
Um, so
yeah,
definitely, I think that would come up. I know 100%. And they
yeah,
love not being specific, so not do enough would be probably as good
yeah.
as it
Or
gets.
or another one. It's you need to do more.
I mean, yeah, same difference, right? So you do
Same thing,
more.
different wording,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's
Where do they get this
crazy.
shit, bro?
I don't know. They said why y'all boys changed to Batman? What the fuck? Saying I got
Oh,
a
which
deep
one?
voice. I don't know. One
Oh,
of
you?
ours. I don't know. I think it was me. Um.
Women suck. So yeah, I can hear it. I can
Yeah.
definitely
And I think that goes back to that clear communication, right? Where what does that mean? You need to do more. You need to think more.
well,
You're not doing enough. Okay, but what does that mean, right? Because that doesn't mean anything really.
right.
Because for example, you need to do more. Okay, I made 1 cup of rice. I'm gonna make two. There you go. That's
You
more.
did more.
But guess what? If I did that, argument, right? That's not what I fucking meant. You're always taking shit, da, 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 and it's just like, damn. Okay, well, tell me exactly what more means, right? And
I
so that
feel
goes
like
back to clear communication.
so I can tell you a specific one that I'm being told, and if you're watching this, baby, I love you. But one specific one is you don't do enough around the house, right? And I think again, a lot of people can relate to this one because I hear it very specific from like different guys. You just don't do enough around the house, right? Um, Now, from my perspective, here's a communication thing, right? I feel like I do a lot. I feel like I do. a lot more than maybe other people would.
Oh yes.
But I'm I guess you can say I'm not being fair because it's just what how I feel, right? Maybe if I have a third party opinion, they might say I don't do enough. Um, but to me, I feel like I do, right? I don't. I wouldn't. I'm not ever gonna say, you're right. I don't do enough. I'm gonna do more because here's where the whole resentment thing and the whole fairness comes in, right? I like to plan things and I like to be rational with
Okay.
things, right? So I put a value on the things that you do. Okay. So for example, I see things as a partnership. So if I, for example, take care of let's say house duties, right? So if I wash the dishes, right, that's to me maybe valued as 2 points. Let's say, right?
Okay.
Laundry that takes a lot of effort, so maybe that's 4 points.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this?
You have a
Now,
point system.
if
Yeah.
let's just say that's the way I view things, right? Um, so if you pay the electricity, that's 10 points, right? You wake up early and get the kids ready for school. Okay, that's I don't know, whatever, 4 points, whatever it is, right? So if you look at all these little things, right, in a relationship that you do, I feel like I got a good chunk of those points. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm taking care of a lot of those points.
Yeah.
Um, but I can't look at one task and compare it to another and just say it's a one-on-one value. That's not how it works.
Yeah. No.
Because I kind of throw this out there, right? Because in general, and a lot of relationships are like this. There's one person that would work more than the other. Right? Typically, the man goes out there, works, right? Maybe doesn't do as many things at the house as they wish they could. But if you have to work a full time and you take care of, let's say, most of the bills, right? That would grant you a lot of points, in my view,
Sure.
right? So you can't say, well, yeah, you work, but you don't wash the dishes, right? So that's not a one-on-one thing, right? Because
Yeah.
washing the dishes takes 10 minutes, working takes 50 hours. So you can't value the task like that, right? So and I hear this all the time, like you just don't do enough at work. Well, are you the main? Are you the breadwinner, right? Like are you the one that's getting working a full time? Are you the one that's maybe cutting the yard? Cutting the yard takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of energy, right?
Yeah.
So if you cut the yard once a week, does that equal washing the dishes 3 times a week? I don't know. Um, but definitely, like I said, that's the way I view things. But I know that that's a topic that comes up, or that's a comment that comes up from a lot of just people that I met, um, that they can relate to, where you don't do enough.
Sure. 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 Yeah. No. Yeah. I can hear it. You know what I mean? So there's definitely, but that's a cool way to view that though. Like I've never, I want to say I've never thought about it like that, but definitely that's a pretty good way to view it. You know, have like a point system or an ideological point system. Not necessarily that
Something
not
the
that
whole
you
reason,
keep
and
tabs, but
yeah,
yeah,
you know what? The whole reason that I even came up with this idea, and I've never actually done it. Right? I've never sat down and said, okay, here's 100 tasks that we usually take care of in our lives. Like I'm gonna grade every single thing and give it a point value. But I thought about this because one, you talked about holding yourself accountable, right? Am I doing my part? So that question always comes up.
now let me
Am I
ask you a
doing my part?
question. Let me ask you a question, and it doesn't have to be personal, right? This is general. If a male spouse or if a spouse sat down with another spouse, do you think the other party will agree to the point system?
No.
Especially if yeah, okay. So you see what I'm saying, right? Like if you
Yeah,
sat down with
that
your
wouldn't.
spouse
No,
and
that
said,
wouldn't.
okay, work is 10 points. Oh, no, 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 no. Work is like 5 points, you know? And
Not even that.
then,
They wouldn't even. Well,
well, what I'm getting
I
to is,
believe, I believe
yeah,
they may not even agree to view things that way because it
it
may
probably
not make
wouldn't
sense.
benefit
It
somebody.
wouldn't. It may not benefit you, right? It might make you
Yeah.
look bad. So
Yeah.
that's a tough pill to swallow from some.
Yeah, and I think that goes like in hand with what everything we're talking about, like that clear communication, that accountability, that flexibility, and things like that.
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah. So like I said, I thought about this because accountability, right? So I wanted to hold myself accountable, make sure that I was doing my part. But the other thing is, I wanted to have something that was a physical thing that you can see, right? That
yeah,
yeah, is it? Are we? Is that really true? Is that a true statement? Am I not doing it, or am I doing it, right?
yeah.
And again, I never got to that point.
It's so funny that you said that because recently, me and Diana, we kind of wrote a to do list on our whiteboard. So we painted our blackboard white. Now it's a expo board. It's not a chalkboard anymore, but whatever.
Oh, okay.
Um, and we split it and we put our names and we put to do list, right? And I'm not gonna say who has stuff written under their name and who doesn't, but I'll let you think about that. And it's just kind of going back to that, point system where you're like, when you compare,
If it had a
what's going
value,
on,
yeah.
if it
If it
had a
had a value,
value,
you feel
if it
like
had a
you
value, somebody would have zero right now because they have nothing in that list. And so it's just kind of like,
right. Yeah. No, I get it. I get it, sir.
But here's another one. What do you think about what do you think about patience?
Ooh,
Right? And not
one
necessarily
thousand
patience with
percent.
and like all hands and all aspects of patience, right? Not necessarily just with oneself where like oh, you're taking too long to get dressed, whatever type of, but I'm saying
Yeah,
like
yeah. No, you're not
like
saying just quick daily things. You're talking about in
I'm talking
general
about long
overall life.
term,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Like
Um
giving your partner enough time for them to mature, to view
to,
things a
to
different way, to get better.
every yeah, to everything, right? Um
But does that make a stronger relationship? Yeah, I guess
yeah,
if you endure it, right? If
because
you give
you
it the
have
time.
to because you have to understand that nothing is overnight. And actually, I don't want to say nothing, right? Because there's people that win the lotto and shit like that. But what I'm getting to is you have to
But people that win the
understand.
lotto, what happens to them?
Well, okay, that's what I'm getting to. You have
Yeah,
to understand that most things that come quick leave quick, right? Um, and a lot of people don't understand that and don't think about that. A lot of people think, oh, you said you were going to go get water at the river, you should have been back, 20 minutes ago. Well, if I would have gotten on the bike and back, sure, it's back and forth, but maybe I had to train to get there because I can't walk 5 miles with buckets on my neck, you know what I mean, or whatever. So I had
yeah,
to train to be able to get there and then back. And so it took me about a year to get to that status so that I can go to the river and get the water. So things like that, that's I guess not the best example, but patience is a big one that a lot of us don't have, right? Especially with our day to day. Yeah, that's a tough one, right? Where like like one of the examples that I've used earlier, right? I'm hungry. That the idea is that you're gonna cook for me immediately and it's gonna be ready. But here's another thing, right? This is another good analogy, or not analogy, but another good example. Think about how long it takes to make a maruchan, right? You can make that 2-3 minutes, right?
yeah.
Think about how long it takes to make a brisket. Now, I don't know about you, but I will fucking prefer a brisket all day over a maruchan.
Yes.
One takes 20 hours to make, the other one
Right.
takes 3 minutes to make. So, things like
Again, you
that.
can't. Yeah, you can't say, "Well, I made a better chance," so you make a brisket, and that's the same thing.
Exactly.
I wouldn't.
Exactly.
I don't think that's the same thing.
Yeah. So it's just I think patience is a big one. Um because also it's another thing that I want to talk about someday too. It's we live in this unfortunate world right now of it's called it's a fucking disease, bro. Instant gratification.
Yes.
Fuck, bro. I hate that shit. And I
Yeah.
have
The
it.
things are not. I think what it is like things are not appreciated anymore
Ooh, that's a good
because
one.
right
Appreciation.
because
Oh
since we're so
man.
used to we wanting more, wanting things faster, wanting things better, wanting things cheaper, quicker. So what maybe in the past might have been appreciated is not. Like the culture is changing. Um,
100%. 100%. Um But yeah, so patience, I think, is a big one. I mean, you said something, gratitude, being grateful, like,
Man, I remember we
oh,
did like a whole session on that, didn't we?
oh yeah, we
That was a
did.
good
We
one.
have
I
a
think
full
we should.
recording on it.
Yeah,
But unfortunately, you're cut off, bro. So fuck, it's
man.
bullshit. We will talk about it again
We can
someday. But
redo.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. But definitely gratefulness, bro. Oh my goodness, like knowing to be thankful or grateful or just appreciating the little things. How about that?
Amen.
You know, we live in an unfortunate era where if it's not the biggest toy, the biggest fucking car, the biggest sofa, the longest fucking, I don't know, water hose, you know, like if it's not the blank est, right? Meaning it's just not good. And it's just fuck, dude, that's so annoying. And it's sad, right? Because I think that is a base to being happy in life. Forget like even
Oh yeah,
strengthening the
yeah. And I remember
relationship, but
we definitely expanded on that. I remember,
like,
like
and
I
here's
said,
the
we had to
thing,
talk
right?
about it. But yeah, I remember we see you can't be happy without.
Well,
Uh,
you can't expect absolutely anything in this world without being grateful. You can't ask for more without knowing what you have.
right.
You just can't. It just won't work. Because as a matter of fact, you might be asking for what you already have. You know, and I think being grateful and acknowledging that or the other person in this sense of
So
relationship is a
just
big one.
one thing I want to mention before, if we don't, because we could do like a whole nother session on gratitude, right?
Sure.
But one thing that I know that you remember, that I always remember that you said, is having the ability, or setting the time aside to, what did you say, to find what things you have in life, and recognize them. So recognize and being grateful for those things. Because again, we these are the times where things just kind of goes by, and fast paced it, and like one thing after another, but we don't ever step back, take the time to figure out what things we should be grateful for. So
Yeah.
I always think about that. I just wanted to throw it out there, if
Yeah.
it helps anybody.
For sure. For sure. So, there's so many things, dude. Honestly, like just thinking about it.
Man,
Here we go. Look at mystery.
Mr. Rick, he read my mind when we were talking about instant gratification, because he
Yeah. Oh,
I was gonna
bro.
mention that I was gonna
Honestly,
mention that 45-minute brisket. Can't beat that. I mean, that's
you
perfect.
you know what? That's a great example. I We'll touch on this subject again
I was
because
gonna
if
throw it out there, but I didn't want to spoil anything for the future.
for anybody watching, we're gonna do a competition someday soon, and I don't want to give too much away, but it includes brisket and timing, and I am willing to bet we should fucking bet. I don't know, whatever. I don't know, but I am willing to bet that a 45-minute brisket is deadly.
It's a no go.
It's a no go. But all right, so wait, so going back to the topic, right? Like what makes a relationship or how to keep a relationship strong. There's so much. There's just so much. We
I
could
think we
talk for
touched up on
days.
some pretty good ones.
Some pretty good ones. Yeah, I think
I
so.
think, if, what is it, like five, six different
Well, I
things we
think we
talked
just
about.
ended up talking about 7.
Okay, so let's say if you master these 7 topics, you'll
Woo!
have a very strong relationship for a very long time.
All right, let me retouch on them because this might be a clip, right? Okay, so what what was the question? I already forgot. Son of a bitch.
How to make a relationship strong?
I'm
That's
gonna
was the
read.
question.
I'm gonna read what they put it. So, how to keep a relationship strong. So we
Okay.
talked about 7 things. So one of them was clear communication. Another one
Ding.
was flexibility.
Yep.
Another one was trust.
Yes.
Another one was accountability,
Yes.
gratefulness.
Gratefulness. We're missing one. What is
We're
it?
missing
We're
one,
missing two.
two. If you can master those five things,
Really?
even those
No,
five
yeah,
things.
even those would.
Oh, six was patience.
Right? Yeah, patience. Yeah,
Six
yeah,
was
yeah.
patience. Um, if you can master those six things, your relationship would be solid. You'd be ahead of 95% of relationships in the world, guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's a great clip right there, I think.
All right.
All right. We got a couple comments here on Instagram, which I'm surprised that most people are watching on Instagram because
Told you, people like
the
that Insta,
content
bro.
is cut in half. It's so weird. But
They really can just see me. I think. Did you see it?
yeah, they can here. If I come like over here, they can see me.
There you go.
But so Wendy said, "Deja de hablar paja." Man,
Ooh. If you
she
can
she
master the
knows
pajas, 100% relationship right there.
100%. But thank you for watching, Wendy. And then we got Jimenez. Oh, I think that's Christian, right? He said,
Jimenez 88
next
something.
topic. Yeah, next topic, el confesionario.
Ooh.
Confesionario. What is
Bro, I think
that?
that's still alive, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh-oh.
So
Story
back
time or what?
so yeah, a little mini story. So back in the day, we started a group. I remember, I think it was Christian actually. So one of my managers started a group called El Confesionario, right? Um, how would you describe that in English?
The confessionist?
No, not the confessionist, but the confession booth,
Oh,
something
okay.
like
The
that, right?
confession booth. Yeah, yeah,
Confession
yeah.
booth, right? So anybody, not anybody, but whoever was in that group can go in there and just kind of talk shit about work and talk shit about, like, they would bully people in there. It was really insane. Like, it was not it would have been an HR nightmare. Um,
Oof.
but we back in the day we didn't really think about that.
Yeah,
They'll go in there, they'll bully people, they'll muck people in there. I mean, it was a little crazy, but
that's
definitely
nuts.
something to we might have a little story on. Christian, if you want to ever join in and kind of tell us what how that all started and some of the inappropriate things that were there.
That'd be a good one. That'd be a good guest to have on. We'll have Christian on here talking
La
about El
boluda.
Confesionario. That'll be good.
I can't
Alrighty,
believe we did
so
those some of those things.
yeah, no, I've heard some of those stories that y'all did, man. That's nuts that y'all got away with it, but definitely a different time, right? Because nowadays,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No.
that would get shut down. So another thing, um, let's see. This was a suggestion was done before the holidays. Unfortunately, we didn't get to it until after the holidays, but something about it was Christmas gifts, big or small. What do you think? And it's kind of tough, right?
Now, when we
Because
say big and small, are we talking about price? Are we talking about?
yeah, I guess that's hard, right? So I guess the real answer is what is your preference, or the real question is what is your preference on a Christmas gift?
Or
And
what's your mentality, right? Like, is Christmas a present?
ooh, that's a good thing that you
So
brought, or you
I,
mentioned that.
I share these every year, right? I share the same message, and it says, if you don't find Christmas in your heart, you're not gonna find it under a tree, right?
Yeah. You know what? I
Because
heard something on the radio. Go for it. Sorry.
no, but so my whole point is you can't, like, no, no kind of gift is gonna make Christmas, right? Like, give you that Christmas spirit. It's not gonna. But on the flip side, and I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, if you care about someone, right, and giving them a gift will make them happy, and it's important to them, is that a wrong way of looking at it? Uh,
I don't know. So I've always thought. Actually, I'm lying. So I heard this on the radio, and it really made me think. Because that question was kind of delivered in a way, but a gentleman went on there and he said that he quit receiving gifts um, X time ago. I can't remember what it was, but that he was completely okay with it because he always grew up Christmas, or when he as growing up, Christmas to him was about giving only. It wasn't about receiving. Like if you received, you were thankful. You
Oh
told whoever
yeah,
gave you
yeah.
something, thank you. But it was just mostly about giving. And I was like, damn, that's nuts. Because
That's good,
growing up
right?
as a
And
kid, you're always just thinking
most
like,
of us
oh,
are
what's
not.
my kid? What's my
Yeah.
gift? And
So like I could tell you, me personally, I can go birthday, Christmas, whatever, no gifts, and I'm fine, right?
yeah,
Um, but going back to the whole gratitude and not having expectations or not expecting other people to, like take care of your mood or whatever. I I don't know if I want to think that's the healthy way of looking at it, where
yeah,
you
and
don't
and
need a gift, you don't need anything to, right? Like you don't get depressed because you didn't get a gift.
sure. And so I don't think, because here's the problem, and I don't want to call it a problem, but here's the I guess it's a problem, right? Let's say you get something for somebody, and they don't appreciate it or they don't like it or they don't whatever. Like that hurts.
Uh,
It's like, oh man, like
but
I
what
got you
kind of?
this.
But then again, maybe something to think about is what kind of relationship are you having with that person that
Sure,
they're. I mean,
sure.
if it's
But
somebody I care and I love and they give me a rock, I'll be happy, right?
oh,
I appreciate it.
100%.
Um,
100%. And if they gave me nothing, bro, I'd be fine with that too. Especially if
exactly.
I know the situations that that person's in.
Now, on the flip side, I know when for my birthday, and this was completely unexpected, got a PS5, right? Oh yeah, got a PS5. Completely unexpected. Was not, didn't even cross my mind, right?
Yeah.
I like having that gift. I appreciate it. I use it.
Sure.
Um, so it was something nice. It was a nice gesture that, uh, it was like a group thing, right? But it wouldn't really affect me if I wouldn't have received anything. I don't think.
Yeah.
So is that an old school mentality thing, or is it
No, I think that's more like I guess how you're
also,
raised.
you grow up poor, right? You don't really expect much.
So
So
I
that's
think
that's
that
that
has
out there, right?
something to do with it, right? Because as I've matured, let's call it, I've gotten into that sense, right? I don't expect it. If I don't get it, fine. If I get it, fine. I mean, if I get it, it's better, right? Because there's some joy to it. But if I don't get it, it's fine. Um, Whereas growing up, you kind of expected the gift, but that's because
Right.
the way I was growing up, my family was pretty tight. You always receive something from somebody.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. Yeah.
so I had that, but like I said, I've matured, I've understood, like it's not like
So it's funny because I was telling my girls, and they thought I was joking. I was being funny. I was telling them like for Christmas we didn't get no gifts, right?
yeah,
Like, and like me and Erica were talking about it, and she's like, "Yeah, that's right. We didn't. It wasn't a thing. Like we wouldn't get anything. What we like Christmas stuff for us. Oh, they're gonna cook, right? There's gonna be food out
yeah,
there. That was the thing,
yeah,
We're gonna get together. You get to see some family. There's gonna be some different food than you usually eat, and that was about it.
yeah.
Um,
Now another thing that I think about too is like I like giving gifts that people want, and if
right. So,
somebody doesn't tell me
okay.
what they
So let's talk
want,
about that. So to me, I think there is a right gift for people, right?
yeah,
So
hundred
when I
percent.
do a gifts, I think it to me it matters more if it was something that was I can say like a good gift, right? Like
Like you don't
something
want to
somebody
just
might
give a
want.
gift to give a gift.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm on the same boat, and so for me, I'm always like, what do you want? I'd
Yeah.
rather give you what you want.
Yeah, it's that clear communication that that we're talking about.
Sure. And if it's not like, if I'm not told what you want, it's tough, right?
Then you get some cash or a gift card.
Because one, I might not get you shit, right? Because
Yeah.
that's just the truth. Or two, I might get you what you don't want, you know, or don't need or whatever. And so It's tough.
And you don't want to be insensitive. So if you get something that you're not really kind of big on, right? So do you appreciate it anyways?
Well, I'll appreciate whatever is given to me, whether it's a rock or a fucking truck. You know what I mean?
But if you get a gift, like say you get a gift just for getting one,
Yeah.
right? Somebody just got it just because they had to do it. So would you feel like that's a negative thing or a positive thing? Yeah, they still spent their money. They still
I
went out
feel
of their
like
way
it's
to do it.
neutral. I don't feel like there's anything there. I don't want to say it's negative. I just feel like it'll be like, all
I
right,
mean,
you got a
some
gift,
some
but
people might take it as that's a
yeah,
negative thing.
yeah, definitely. There's gonna be that one person that's gonna be like, oh, they just went
That
to the
one person
store and well,
might
I'm
be
sure
more than
there's
one.
more than one, but there definitely be the person that's like, oh, they just got this off the fucking floor and gave it to me. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, it goes back to I guess one of those things that we were talking about earlier, right? Being grateful,
yeah,
whether it's yeah. So definitely that. So I think the gift, to answer that question, the gift doesn't really matter if it's big or small. Um, it really matters like what's the intention. How about that?
right. I agree. What's the intention? What kind of effort might have been put into it? Um,
Well, I don't know about the effort though, because the effort can be little. If you tell me what to get, there's no effort. You know?
well, let me say this. So I mentioned about when I got the PS5. I know there was a lot of effort that went into it, right?
Yeah,
From your part, you Indiana. I don't know how you guys did it.
yeah,
Uh, like people wouldn't believe I had a PS5 because it had just came out, and somehow you guys did it, right? I
yeah.
didn't even think you could even get him at that point, honestly. But you guys got it done, right? So I really appreciate that, right? And
so
yes, the
I
intent
guess,
was there, but the effort that was put into it, like
so
think
I
about
guess
it, that's
it.
priceless.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. I mean, I guess I guess it matters, but then at the same time,
And it's all together with the intent, right? Like the intent and the
it's I
effort
guess
kind of
it's
goes.
dependent. That's what I'm saying, right? Like something like that, for sure, right? But then again, people, or in this case, Erika knows you like gaming and gaming systems, and that was like the new thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But say you weren't a gamer, and she just thought, oh, I've seen him play a couple games here and there, and we did all that to get it for you, and you're just like, oh, thank you,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like you have to know what the person likes, or you have to
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah, 100%.
yeah.
Sorry, I have a cough.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So I think it doesn't matter how big or small, especially because sometimes small things are fuck. Give me a diamond, bro. Give me a diamond.
Right, yeah,
That's
yeah. That's what I mean.
so
Like you were talking about big as in size, big as in price,
yeah. So I guess the
or
real
big as
answer,
in
so
intent.
big and small isn't really a good way to. Um,
So valuable or less valuable.
there's a lot to it, right? Like, what's the intent?
Yeah,
What's the effort? What's there's a lot of things, right? Because for example, I don't want one of those big ass teddy bears they sell at Costco. Fuck, where am I gonna put that shit?
yeah.
You
I
know,
wouldn't
even if it's
either.
the last one and you fucking fought Respucia for it, you
What if it was
know,
like stuffed with a bunch of $100 bills?
nah, it's a different
That's
story.
different, right? Yeah,
It's a
I'll
different
find some.
story.
I'll find a spot.
I will. Well, I mean, I'll just take the money out. So, I think big and small, it doesn't really matter as long as there's definitely some love behind it. That I think that's a big one too.
Is that what she said? I hope that's what she says.
Who?
Big and small doesn't really matter.
Well, they always say it's not the size of the boat, right? It's the motion of the ocean. If you think about it, right?
Yeah,
The what is it? The Pinta, the other one in the Santa Maria.
yeah.
I can't believe I don't remember them. They're like the
Is it La
peak
Nina?
La Nina. There you go. Because I can't remember. I can't believe I don't remember that. It's like the peak point of boats and hoes.
Huh.
What is it? It's like is the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. Oh. Bro, Step Brothers is the best movie ever created.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Bro, I'm telling you, movies nowadays would never even get close to that because they just would be canceled immediately.
Oh, dude, we gotta talk about that.
What, boats and
W-
hoes?
Well, yeah, but no, but also about movies and how like the whole just everything changing and how creativity nowadays has kind of been suppressed by different topics
The
and items and
fucking radical left?
yeah.
Dude, it's just whoo, radical left has gone. You know, we're
So
in
you
an
know,
era where it's way one side or way the other. Like there's no in between, right?
yeah. And
Um,
I think what it is too, like people are giving way too much importance to one or the other, right?
they're giving too
Um,
much importance to nonsense.
yeah, and
Like, who gives a fuck
so
if somebody calls you a faggot? Like, who cares?
yeah, that's what it is. I don't know. I think like just people have way too much time in their hands because I don't know. Like I see people coming back to my store and asking for like they're missing a fry, so they drive back 20 minutes. I'm like, I would never.
Fuck
You know what I mean?
no.
Like I
I'll
know,
take the
yes, you pay
loss.
for it. I'm sorry, right? But like, who has the time? Or like people that are writing reviews and getting online and spending an hour doing a complaint. Like who? I don't have the time to do any of that stuff.
I don't have the
So
want.
the want or the time, right?
It's just
Like
too
to me,
much,
that's not
bro.
worth putting the effort. But on that, if you look at it from a big picture perspective, that these are the people that are kind of taking everything to extreme and complaining and
Yeah. And I think it's
like I said,
because
ultimately suppressing that creativity that I just miss my like good TV, good shows, good TV, good things that were entertaining that I don't see that anymore. Yeah, you're right.
I mean it's just cuz for example, like a nasty joke or a gay joke, it was made and
Everybody's
people
just
laughed at
afraid
it,
to death that you're
you
gonna get
know?
canceled, that they're gonna get ruined.
Yeah.
Um,
And yeah, people, and it's because it was allowed at some point, right? So that somebody went extreme, and now it's like they're being backed. Like it's like how what do I explain it? Like how do I
so
explain this?
so this is the way I see. So I think people naturally tend to be followers, right?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
So if start with like one crazy person, right? And not that any type of something that anybody's supporting is crazy, but just to say, right, you start with a crazy person and you end up with 1,000 crazy people backing them up, right? Just because followers, right? Because they too much time in their hands. And I think that's kind of
Yes.
how it is nowadays.
And you know what? It goes back to, and not it goes back to, but I think it also has to do with accountability, right? Like there is no accountability anymore, um, like there used to be.
What do you mean?
So let's say the law, right? And I'll be the bad guy here. So a couple years back, Black Lives Matters, right? There was all these fucking movements going on and all these parades and shit.
Yeah.
Half of these fucking parades or protests or whatever you want to call them were destructive as fuck. And you hardly ever heard of anybody getting um in trouble for it, let's call it. And if you, I didn't, and you would see these videos where there was people like jumping on cars, breaking cars, regular cars, police cars, like all this shit, right? These
So,
motherfuckers should have been
yeah,
shot.
so I think
You know what I mean?
so I think like so again, I think the intent of right what they might have originally have been fighting for was meant to be decent. But then you get the people that just take advantage of that and they start,
And,
they create problems, right?
and there's a lot of that, right? There's a lot of people taking advantage of the situation,
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Um,
and there's nobody stopping
so
them.
that creates that. what something that was meant to be good and turns it into what might have ended up being something not so great.
Yeah. And then like I said, and nobody's stopping it, right? And then somebody that seems to be higher up, let's call it, with power, right, is supporting these causes. Um and then society supports it,
Ah, that's
and
just like
then society is on these devices that fucking drain our life. And what happens is just gets blasted everywhere on social media if you try to do something. Like I heard about this one person that was complaining. I don't know if I read an article, whatever. The idea was, or the thing was, that the school or the teacher was trying to teach children about the LGBTQ community, right? Whatever that
yes,
is. And
yeah,
they were like kind
it's
of,
something like that. Yeah,
and a
I think
father was
you're
like,
missing a few
"Hey,
letters there, but yeah,
LGBTQ ABCDEFG plus premium
plus beta.
subscription beta." I like to try things, but I'm not gay. Yeah.
Yeah,
That community, and the father was like, "Hey, don't do that shit with my child. Like, what the fuck?" And the father, like, society came down on the father, right? Like, what's wrong with you? You're whatever, that, homophobic and blah blah blah. And it's like, no, I just, this, it's a fucking
yeah.
child.
And to your comment about people like politicians and celebrities or whatever backing these things up, I think it's because this is the way I see. Like, it's just something that got out of hand,
Yeah,
and now out of fear, people react to it, right? So, say from a politician's perspective, if they feel like if they don't back it up, they're gonna get canceled, right?
sure,
And
sure,
then they
sure.
don't get people votes, and then they just that's not good for their career, right? And just like snowballs down the hill from there. But
Do you say they have no balls?
no balls,
And
snowballs.
yeah, no, I heard you.
Okay, I mean some of them have no balls, so yeah, that's right.
Then you're right. You're right. But yeah, and so I think, like, this is a big thing. These devices, these fucking things have made shit hit the fan. You know. Um, but
Definitely a
no,
great note to self. That's a good topic for another time.
hundred
But
percent,
yeah,
100%. But I agree with what you're saying. Like, there's politicians that, unfortunately, sometimes, if they're afraid of whatever, if they may want to stay in office, right, because they're being corrupt, they're making a
yeah,
shit ton of money.
and they don't know any better, right? So they just do whatever they're advised to do, and their advisor might be a you know
LGBTQ
yeah,
ABCDEFG.
exactly. Yeah, like,
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just that community, right? I mean,
no, no,
it's
no, it's
everything.
different. Yeah, it's
It's
different.
it's everything that's fucking crazy. It's that community. It's immigrants. It's LGBTQ, or I keep saying that one. It's Black Lives Matters. It's fucking everything. I mean, it's really just everything. And like, think about this uh shit that's going on right now, right? The war in Ukraine, or the Israeli and Palestinian war, like all that shit. They make you pick a side, right? And I think that's another thing. Like, you can't just discuss a topic now. You
Fake
have to pick a
news.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, fake news. No, you have to pick a side, and if you don't pick my side, you're the bad guy. It's like, well, maybe I'm not a bad guy. I'm just not on your side.
Right.
Because there's always two stories to each. No, it is two sides
There's
to
always
each
two sides of
story.
the story. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate, right? Going back to the LGBTQ ABCDFG plus. Like, I'm not saying we need to go back to the '80s where they were beat all and all this shit, but like, I don't give a fuck about them, really. Like, keep your shit with you, do your thing. Don't mess with me. I have gay friends, right? Like, and it's just, it, there's nothing against it as long as you don't go overboard, right? Like,
Yeah,
and I think that's with everything.
and a lot of them are not going to be extremes, right? So we always, again, we're talking about extreme cases where like they want to impose into somebody else's lives and they want to change everything and they want
That's
to,
that's the thing. Don't impose in my life.
yeah, yeah. No, I
You
get
do
it.
you.
And it could be, yeah, it could be anything, right? But yeah, that one just, I guess, is
That's
just
the one that
gotten
sticks
really.
out the
That one is
most.
just been like it's gained a lot of
Traction.
popularity. Yeah,
Yeah.
recently. So yeah.
So that's kind of why we're picking on y'all. And they have a plus subscription, so that's pretty dope. I wonder when BLM is gonna get a plus. We're about to get canceled for that
Yeah,
shit.
no shit.
Fuck it. But so there's that. Let's see. All right, let's see. We had I don't even know how we got on that one.
I
I don't even know.
think we said
That was
accountability, and it just went from there. I don't know.
yeah.
What
So
else you got?
that so we got vacation places, but I kind of want to talk about that on another note or on
Sure.
another session.
And just to remind everyone, if you uh see the video again, we're getting suggestions from our website. Is that right?
Y- yeah. So this was actually submitted to us via our website, 2madkings.com. You scroll to the very bottom there. I mean, it's very self explanatory. Scroll to the
Send us
bottom
a
and
message.
yeah, and then you leave us a message and we see them. So we see all the messages. No big deal. I mean, not no big. I mean, it is no big deal. Shit. But yeah, we see all the messages, and this was one sent to us by a fan, and we're just touching up on a couple of the notes or suggestions that our fan put on there. Um, and so there was that. But if you have anything you want us to talk about, go to 2madkings.com and like I said, scroll down. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and if you're on Instagram, I believe
You
uh
follow?
follow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Follow and if you go on one of those, you can see all our other platforms, right? We're also on Facebook, we're
You can
also on
follow on Facebook. You
TikTok,
can TikTok
um,
us.
whatever
What is it
social
on there?
media you could think about,
Subscribe.
we're on it. Actually, we're not on High Five or MySpace. I think
Is that
those are
even a thing?
outdated. I don't know.
I still think. I think it's still around.
I don't know. Damn.
Huh.
But if you go on MySpace and you see 2MadKings, that's not us. So just be careful. Dude, MySpace. That was the shit, bro.
Man, that was it back in the day.
You know MySpace?
If you weren't MySpacing, you weren't doing it.
Dude, MySpace was ahead of its time. 100%.
Oh yeah, they dropped the ball at some point.
It's just but it was just
They should have been Facebook. They should have been like these social media, right?
I think they would have been more than Facebook.
I
I
mean,
just
be
think
more than
hell yeah, dude. You could do so much more. I mean, like Facebook is so basic if you think about it. Like it's just fucking posting,
yeah, but
it's just
like
chatting.
at least
That's
to me,
it.
right? Like I'm at that age, so a lot of people must say I'm just old, right? Like a lot of these kids are like, oh, you're Facebook, you're old. But when I think social media, I think Facebook, right?
Correct.
Yeah, there's 100 more now, but
But what I'm
originally
getting to
Facebook
is
was the breakthrough social media, right? And
yeah, but
I think MySpace is a blockbuster of, you know what I mean, of social media
yeah.
because they dropped the ball, they didn't adapt, they didn't
Yeah.
move
Yeah.
forward with time, and they just kind of
Yeah.
left
So
it open for somebody else to kind of take over.
but I think MySpace was so ahead of its time, and I think it would have been more than Facebook because of everything that you could do with it, right? Like you were able to
You mean
create your own profile,
the
and like,
personalization of it? Yeah,
yeah, you could personalize damn near all of it. I mean, it was making us fucking 12, 13, 11 year olds code. Like we were coding, you know what I mean?
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we could, and so Facebook didn't do none of that. Facebook, all it did was like connect us to
They
people
dumbed
and
it
chat.
down to so that everyone can get on there. That's what it is.
Exactly. And so that's what I'm saying. I think MySpace could have been a lot more
Do
than
I remember?
Facebook.
Like if you were on the top 5 or whatever, top 10, you were
Woo!
ahead. Like ride or die. You
Damn,
know.
hell
And
yeah.
if you
And
weren't there, it's like
like you could tell when somebody got in an argument.
booty hurt. Oh yeah, coming right off of
Yeah.
that top
Like
whatever you
like
had
if
on
they
there.
were in a relationship and they got knocked down to two and they put their best friend up there, oh, they're arguing.
That was it. Yeah.
If you were friends with somebody, normally
Oh,
it
that
was
was so
chicks,
fun.
right? If it
Yeah, yeah.
was your friends and they got an argument, they take them off their top 10 or top 5 or whatever. Um, yeah, bro, like that was legit. You gotta have comments. Honestly, man, MySpace, you dropped the ball.
We did. They did. Yeah.
Cause you know what? Like MySpace, you could have even probably streamed on there at that time because you
Oh
could put
no, no, no,
video.
no, no. I mean, this streaming thing and all this is newer
No,
technology.
streaming has been around forever, bro. Just that we didn't
No,
have it.
the
Yes, look,
accessibility of it is not. It's not. Has not been
hold
around.
on. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you when streaming accessibility was.
No, no, no. Listen to what I'm saying. Wide accessibility for everyone was not around. Yeah, you were able to do it. It wasn't probably high quality. It was unless you had like
Not
really
high
nice
quality, yeah.
equipment, right? Uh,
The only thing what I'm saying is MySpace had the ability to engrave or embed videos onto their your profile, right? So
yeah,
think about like people streaming, especially if it kept going, right? If MySpace kept going, you could have embedded your stream there. You could have had other people embed your stream onto their profile, and bro, MySpace was so ahead of its time, dude. I'm so mad.
you know what? Now you got me wondering, like, what is MySpace nowadays?
I don't know. Does it even
Last
exist?
last time I logged in, it was like a music thing.
Oh, really? It's still
Yeah,
around? Oh, it's still around. Social network company. How is MySpace still around, bro?
I don't know.
Anybody in the chat on Instagram or YouTube,
So check this out. So
do
if
you
you want to
still
get
remember your MySpace login?
so so if you want to get on MySpace, you can log in through Twitter or Facebook.
Oh, so they probably bought them out.
So, well, no, I don't know. Did they? No, that's two different companies though.
Oh yeah, Twitter and Facebook are
So
two
it's
different
just how
companies.
how
Yeah.
you log into things. Like if you already have an account, you just use Facebook to log in like
Oh, I
that.
see that. I see that. But you
Yeah,
know what? If I did log in through Facebook or Twitter, it wouldn't be the same MySpace
it
because
wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah, because
yeah,
that's not
but
what I.
it's so funny because I cannot for the life of me remember my password. I remember my email.
I wonder if you have like if you were able to log in, if you have
If
that
everything's
account will
still
still
there,
exist. Yeah,
bro. I
because
remember
then I
my
could go back and be
email.
like, oh yeah, that's right. I was trying to get at this.
I don't
Huh.
remember my password, dude. There's no way.
It probably doesn't even exist anymore. I'm
You
gonna
know
guess.
what though? Actually, in 2000, it had to be before 2020. So 2000 like 18, we were at a Shep event at school, and some people were able to log into their MySpace.
No, no way.
Yes, yes. And it was, they obviously you see those stupid ass pictures with the dark eyeliner and shit like that.
Yeah,
Um, that was fun times, bro. I remember I used to have my profile doped up. It was thuggish ruggish to the bone.
yeah. Huh. That's
Oh,
fun.
man. It was a fun time. Just some crazy kids fucking shit up, And it was cool because you could see who was online. You remember that?
Right.
They'd be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I want to talk to so and so." Oh, they're not online. Like, oh man, or like you want to hit your boy to go play soccer or whatever. Oh, they're not online. So that was crazy. But definitely MySpace ahead of its time. And to think that MySpace bigger than Facebook at some point? It was, right?
Uh,
Yeah, because Facebook was only like college for some time.
that's how it started. Yeah. But I think. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah, yeah,
weird.
I can hear you.
So I think it was just different times. I think it was MySpace, and then honestly, after Facebook started, I think that was it. That was the end of that.
Mm. I don't know,
Quite
but
frankly, if you were born after 2000, you probably don't even know what we're talking about.
no, well,
No,
yeah, yeah,
early 2000s, early 2000s.
yeah. No, if you were born, because MySpace was big, like what 2006, 7, and 8, maybe.
Oh man.
I don't think it was big 2009 because I don't remember using it in high school. I remember using it in middle school. I don't remember using it in high school. What about y'all? Anybody on online that's watching us? Do y'all when was the last time you remember using MySpace?
Or does anybody have their login information that is able to log in and see? That would be interesting.
Would forgot password work?
I tried that, but it didn't work for me. You can try it.
It wouldn't work for me. I remember why. Because I don't have access to that Yahoo account either, and Yahoo asks for all kinds of shit.
So it says here MySpace failed because it targeted a niche audience who reached college age, just as other sites like Facebook were reaching popularity. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So that's what happened. Like all these people that were
they
using
they grew
MySpace,
out of it. Is what it is.
they went into college, and that's where Facebook was.
Right.
And that, like, if you weren't
And
using
again,
that, you were like, ooh,
they didn't adapt. They didn't keep going. They didn't.
sure, 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 yeah, because they could have kept going and
Yeah.
doing some crazy shit. Yeah, but MySpace was fun. MySpace was crazy. I just remember
I
like the
wonder if
top
we
10
think it was
things. That
fun
was
just
funny.
because it was like part of our childhood, right?
No, dude, like all the
Because
stuff you
do
could
you
do
feel
to
like
it, that was
if
cool.
you were able to log in and
I wouldn't
have
keep
the
doing it
same
now.
exact
No.
thing that you can do on MySpace now, if you even like if you think it was cool, or
Yeah, hell
you would
yeah.
just log in, look at it, and be like,
Well, look, okay, so here's the thing. If Facebook created a profile aspect like MySpace did, I would for sure 1,000,000% go on that bitch and pimp it out, man. For
and the
100%.
reason I say this is because I remember thinking when I first played, like, let's say a PlayStation One game, I was like
Woo.
blown away, right? Like, how can this be? But
Yeah.
if I go now and play a PlayStation One game, it's like, what the fuck is this, right?
I can't. Like, those people that go back and play old games and
Yeah,
shit?
nah, yeah,
I
yeah, for sure.
fucking can't.
That's
It
me. So
it bugs
I'm
me.
I'm thinking if we have that same mentality, right? If we
Mm,
log into MySpace and we just remember it because it's nostalgic for us and we think it was cool at the time, or would we really actually like it?
So I honestly think right now it would be nostalgia, but I also think that it would stick. Not MySpace. It would have to be on Facebook now because the reason I'm saying it would have to be on Facebook now is because there's so
I
much
don't know what you
of
mean by on Facebook, like a whole different, like just adding a page to my.
sure, sure, sure. Like you like your profile, right? So like if you click on your profile on Facebook, it only shows. I guess there's like what school you went to and like all this bullshit, but there's no customization to your profile, right? There's no personalization to Facebook, right? It just shows your posts and then some interests, right? That's kind of what it is. Whereas on MySpace, you were able to do
Well, I mean,
all
you
that.
can have your own website nowadays. You can have.
Yeah.
There's 1,000 other places you can go and do that if you like.
Yeah, but how many people are gonna look how much we struggle to get people to go to our fucking website?
Don't
Motherfuckers
forget,
go to
don't forget to a
2madkings.com.
website.
But that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like Facebook is it right now. So if Facebook did develop a profile adaptability, I 100% think a lot of the people will, for one, nostalgia will do it, right? And then
a
two,
lot of the
the
people.
younger people will do it. Maybe the older cats probably not because one, they probably don't know how to, and the ones that do know how to, they will do. I think the sense of being able to make something yours, people like that shit.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I agree that.
Because then they'd be like, "Oh, dude, I saw your page. It's fucking badass what you did,
Right.
with it,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, because think about like it's like sharing your Spotify account with somebody, right? I remember many times
Customized to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
remember many times going to
it
somebody's
paints a
page.
picture about you.
Exactly. But I remember many times going to somebody's page just to jam on their profile because they had good music, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of that, like I think if Facebook did add that to their platform, it would skyrocket it even more, which they probably don't need to, but whatever. Facebook, if you do that, I want some I
Want
want
some
point one
royalties on that?
percent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me just one stock of it, no big deal. But definitely I'll say it again, dude. MySpace was ahead of its time. And it sucks that they didn't adapt because that was fun, dude.
And if they would have adapted, would they have become like Facebook?
Hmm,
I
I don't
think you're
know.
right. I think it would have definitely evolved into something different, but still keep like the main uh like the customization part of it, like the some of the ideas that were out there.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, you kind of question something right here. Like, if it did adapt, would it
Would have
would it
naturally
become
become like Facebook,
Facebook
basically.
or bigger or
Yeah.
whatever? And I don't know, right? Because there's always that like what if. But one of the examples that I think about is you mentioned earlier too, Blockbuster. You said MySpace was the Blockbuster of now, and so for those people that don't know, Netflix offered to
Referring
sell
to
to
next, yes.
Blockbuster at some point in time for like $2 million, and Blockbuster said, "Ha ha, that's stupid. Nobody's ever going to go on the internet and watch movies." And
Here we
so
are.
yeah, and so unfortunately Blockbuster tanked, went out of business, and Netflix is now one of the biggest streaming platforms in the world. And so would MySpace have done that as Facebook did? I don't know. Do I think it had the potential to? 100%.
So Tom dropped the ball, huh? That's what you're saying.
Hey, Tom was everybody's first friend, man. I tell you
Everybody.
what. I tell you what. Tom, you fucked up, my guy.
Damn. I remember too trying to do my profile picture like that, like Tom did. Like,
Oh, dude, where he was like this.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Damn.
Bro, I wonder what Tom is doing right now.
Oh,
Is
I
he
wonder
still
if we can look it
alive?
up. Yeah,
Motherfucker
we're
probably
probably
killed
still alive,
himself. Probably said,
right?
"Fuck, I missed out." That's so funny. Tom was everybody's first friend. He was a real ass nigga. He was there when you showed up. He was your first friend, and then he was the first friend, and he was the first friend everybody deleted. That's fucked up. I don't think I kept Tom as a friend. I deleted that
Really?
motherfucker real quick. Hell yeah. Dude, you know what this conversation just reminded me of?
Yeah.
Three-way.
Ooh, what are we talking about here?
Okay, we're not talking about sex.
Oh, okay.
Talking about like phone call three-way, right? The before cell phones had it where you just add a call or whatever. Like you had to fucking put them on hold, call the other person, and when the phone started ringing, you switch back to the other call, and then you have to ask, "Do you hear the ring?" Because if
Look,
it didn't, then you had to
I'm gonna be
start
100% with
over.
you. I never even got to do that. I don't know.
Oh, what?
Like for me, it was like no phone, and then when I got a phone, it was already like I got that.
Oh, you got that Evo.
No, 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 no.
Oh, that was
So my,
before.
no, yeah, yeah, my first phone it was like one of those flip phones, whatever free flip phone Sprint would give you.
Yeah.
Had like a .00001 megapixel camera, and that it is free. That's all that mattered, and that was it, man. And it's funny because he had a browser, but so you would open it but it wouldn't do anything. It would just stay there.
You know what? But you
And you
had
would
a
try to
cell
go on there and
phone.
search like tits, right? And like nothing would happen. You're like,
Oh
damn.
wow.
So
No,
yeah,
but
that
you're
was
talking about a cell phone, bro. I'm talking about like you had to do this on a home phone. You had to
that's
do
what I
this on
mean.
a
I
on a
did it. So
landline.
before that, I never really had like a landline or like a
Oh,
like a phone
okay.
at home. So I didn't. Yeah, I didn't mess with that.
Yeah, no, we had the phone at home, and so you had to call the person or you had to talk to the person, and then you had to put them
Woo!
on hold.
Check this
Then
out.
you
Sorry,
had to
side
right go
comment.
for it.
Uh, Tom Henderson, co-founder of MySpace, blah 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 blah. So he sold it for $580 million.
What, dude? He came out on top.
So I take back everything we said. Good job, Tom.
Who'd he sell it to?
It said he sold it to became a glove trawler with a passion for. It don't say. Sold it for
Bro,
$100 and became.
five hundred
I don't
and
know.
eighty million dollars.
Yeah. So I mean,
Tom,
he did his thing. Not
Tom,
gonna
Tom,
hold.
Tom knew what he was doing.
Not gonna hold anything against him. So
Yeah, Tom knew what he was doing. He
he's added
knew
him. He's back on my top five.
for real. Let me add him as a friend real quick. Shit. You know
Tom,
what,
if you ever
Tom?
get to hear these,
Now
give me
that
some
now that I
sponsorship.
now that we know how much he sold it for, I'm sure Tom did what a lot of business people do, where they build the business and then when they get to a certain point, they sell it off.
Right.
100%, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
There's
I
he
think
was
so.
yeah, that's nuts. 580 million. What do you do with that money?
Know what I would do, but probably go to hell. Probably going to hell now.
Oh, I'm going to hell for sure, bro. I don't even want to go to heaven. That shit sounds boring. You know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck wants to go to the clouds? I'm trying to go to the discoteca,
Like to be grounded.
for real. Shit, we're already in hell in Texas in the summer. It can't get no worse than that.
Been practicing all my life.
For real.
Says purchased by Time Inc. So I don't know
Time Inc.
what or whatever that company is.
Interesting.
Huh. I wonder what they probably just scrapped it and didn't do anything with it.
Just fucking lost $580 million.
Well, I'm sure they turned it into something else, probably.
Yeah. Fucking A, dude. $580 million. Dang.
Time Inc. was an American worldwide mass media corporation founded in blah 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 blah. So it was a media corporation. So who knows? Who knows what they do with that?
Interesting. It said was, right? So did it
Was
die?
so Time has founded. So since 2018, Time has been owned by Salesforce founder Mark, whoever who acquired corporation, and it currently publishes the magazine through the company Time USA.
Time
So who
USA.
knows? Who knows what they did?
All I know is Tom came out on top with $580 million. He probably did a bunch of cocaine and strippers.
Oh, so okay, so Meredith is the largest magazine company in the United States, and they bought Time Inc.
Who
Huh.
reads magazines anymore?
Uh, I don't know, but this says they're worth $2.8 billion.
That's nuts, dude. Everything is on our phone now. I mean, you know what? Actually, it's funny that I say that. I have a coworker, really great guy. Every day he gets the newspaper. Every day or every Sunday, whatever the fuck. He
He's
he
got to be like
refuses.
he's got to be like 80 or something.
No, this guy's a young cat. He's probably like mid 40s. I don't know, something like
Sure,
that.
we'll
He's
we'll say he's young.
mid 40s, maybe 50s. I don't know. I'm gonna ask him when I go to work. But he is it every Sunday or is it every day? I can't remember, but it's
I
every
think
day. He
Sunday
gets the
paper, right?
fucking newspaper.
On Sundays.
Whatever, bro. But he gets the newspaper and he refuses to read the news on his phone. I think that's what he said. I know he doesn't. I know he gets the newspaper, but I don't know if he just if you were whatever. I'd be looking at my phone. If I click news on Google News.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just wait for my phone to let me know what's going on.
For real. By the time my phone lets me know, the shit fucking world's already hit the fan. So whatever. Uh-oh. What'd you say? Oh wait, you didn't say nothing. I looked at that, and then you were behind. So
Oh,
whatever. So we got We so you know what's crazy? I pulled up Instagram over there, right? And it said like a fuck ton of people joined, right? A fuck ton of people. But it only shows 3 people are on it. So I wonder who the fuck is on it. One, and then two, why the fuck they getting off? You know what I'm saying? Talk with us, motherfucker. JK.
Say something.
Yeah, say something. Say hi. You know, be like, yo, what's up?
Say hi, subscribe, follow, and then dip. That's cool.
Subscribe, follow, go to our fucking website, 2madkings.com. Tell us if you think we should update anything or fix anything, and then also leave some suggestions in there.
If you hate
Um,
something, let us know.
Damn, do we really want to know?
Yeah, I want to know.
Yeah, you're right. I do want to know too.
I mean,
But there's nothing to hate because that bitch is badass.
may not sleep that night, but I want to know.
No, I'll sleep. You know, there's not much. I don't have kids yet, but there's not much that I don't think I couldn't sleep through.
You sleep? Yeah, you lose sleep for?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, how, like some people are like, oh, I have a
You
big
just
job
don't
interview
know.
tomorrow, or
Yeah,
blah
nah,
blah
I
blah.
think,
It's like
yeah.
knockout. But like
Well,
I
that's
said, I don't
good.
have kids yet, so I don't know if that will be a thing. But anything
Well,
else, bro, I don't know. I don't think so.
yeah.
Do you have anything you'll lose sleep over?
Not
I mean, other
really.
than your kids, if we want to say that,
Yeah. No, I don't think I do.
that's what I'm saying.
I
Like,
mean,
how do
not like
people not
that.
sleep?
I
Nice. So Charlie Z said, "Nah, you don't want to know what you talking about. If we hate something, if you hate something, I want to know if you
Oh, I
hate
guess
something."
I guess he's been in that situation, so he knows.
No, no, no,
If
no,
you
no. I think he's talking about if we hate if they hate something that we don't want to know. I want to know if you hate something, Charlie, because I really care about
we
what
want
you
to know,
think.
Charlie, let us
We
know.
want to know, Charlie. You are one of my favorite persons on the planet. I want to know what you think.
Wait, do we know? Do we know who Charlie is?
Yeah, we know Charlie. He's the sexiest black Mexican. That's
Oh, I know
Carlos
who Charlie
Saleta.
is. I
Oh,
know who
never
Charlie
mind. I
is.
didn't say
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
Nah, but definitely go to 2madkings.com and give us some suggestions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he said he wants to be a guest on here one day. So
Oh,
I
let's
I
do it.
know I know that motherfucker's got stories for days.
Oh,
Charlie, you better get
Charlie.
on here.
Depending on what kind of story you tell us, I might come up with something I might have not told somebody in the past.
Oh shit! I might try to top your story.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all have stories that we just don't, that you're just gonna keep to ourselves.
No,
What? Yeah.
never.
Uh huh. Oh, that's right. I forgot you just got married. Sure. Let's say never for you for now. Yeah.
But alrighty. Uh, what else we want to talk about? You want to talk about what we got upcoming, or do you want to keep that a secret?
Well, we gotta reschedule the guest, right?
Yeah.
So, Carlos, if you want to come on with it, just let us know. We'll set up a date. Uh, kind of think about what kind of story you want to share.
He said, "If Jesus knows it, let the world know it."
Amen. I tell your recently married friend here
I don't
that
know anybody named
he's
Jesus.
acting like he's an open book.
I don't know anybody named Jesus. Oh, you know what? That just
He
made me
works
think
for
about
me at
something.
Whataburger.
Hey, I just thought about something. This is gonna piss so many people off, but fuck it. So Jesus had to be black, right? You know how those people say that they're like he's black.
Yeah,
You want me to
at
tell you
least
why?
at least very dark.
No, no, no. He had to be black because he doesn't know his father.
Ooh.
Bro, there's no like you're not gonna convince me that Maria got pregnant randomly. This bitch went and fucked somebody else and put that shit on Jose or Joseph, whatever y'all want to call him. Poor guy.
Damn.
But yeah,
He
that was
did
my
with a
joke of the
good.
day.
Yeah, he did with a good like
Good Samaritan.
a good baby daddy would do. I guess not even
Yeah.
baby daddy. A good damn
Joke of the day, right? Damn.
damn. That's rough.
but yeah. So what we were saying. So we got to reschedule our
So we got,
special guest. Uh,
and yeah, we
and
could talk
then
about what we got coming up. I guess
okay, okay.
if you look a little
So
preview.
you want to talk about it, or you want me to talk about it?
Uh,
You
I
talk
can
about it.
I can start it. I can start it.
Okay.
So for Christmas, was it Christmas? Yeah. So for Christmas, somehow I volunteered. I don't remember how that happened, but somehow I got volunteered, or I volunteered. I I I smoked a brisket. I smoked a couple of briskets actually. Um, and it usually takes, so for all you guys out there who's ever taken on that endeavor, it takes a while. It takes at least, I think I took, was it 14, 16, 18 hours? It takes a big chunk of your day. Um, Preparing it, leaving it overnight. Anyways, long story short, then we get one of the prims, right? If you know, one of the prims is one of our cousins. He comes up and just throws it out there. He made a brisket and he did it in 45 minutes.
Don't say how.
And
Don't say how. Don't say
oh,
how.
okay. He got a brisket ready in 45 minutes. And blown away, we decided what we're gonna do is we're gonna we're gonna do a little cook off, right? So we'll each prepare a brisket, we'll taste it, and and then we kind of unravel all the mysteries of how that 45-minute brisket comes into play, right? Uh, but yeah, that's it. That's what we got coming up. Is that right?
So the idea is that we'll do the challenge or the event. We'll record some of it, so we'll share some of it with you guys, and then we'll be discussing
So I
the
think what we
event
got.
on
Let's see,
here.
what do we got? So we got. Uh, Typically, I do my own kind of seasoning slash like brining procedures, right? It's a more very traditional way of doing it, right? And I think you do something similar, correct?
I do Texas style. So for people
Texas
that
style.
don't
So you
know,
do
Texas
just salt,
styles, salt and pepper.
pepper, and
Salt,
just smoke
pepper.
it for a while. Yeah. I do so. My approach is a little different. So I do the seasoning. I do the brining. And I do different. I use different seasonings, right? Different times, and I'll spray it and I brush it and I do all kinds of things. And then we got mystery guest, where other guests. He's Then we got Mister 45-minute brisket. Um, so we so we'll put that together and we'll talk about that. We'll see how that
Yeah.
goes.
So that's what we've got for one of the events. Another of the events, or um, yeah, events that we have coming up is we're gonna do a
Oh,
uh,
that's right.
haunted route. Let's call it. We're gonna head over to Dallas and hit some of the most haunted spots in Dallas, and we're gonna record some of that and see how that goes, and then we'll discuss it if we come back alive, right? And so we'll discuss that. So that's another thing we've got coming up. And
Yeah,
then obviously we have our guests that we want to bring on. So um, that's three things there that we've got coming up or in the works. And big, like I said, like we keep saying, head over to our website, 2madkings.com, and give us any suggestions. I mean, it doesn't have to be just to talk about something. It could be to do something, go somewhere, do something, and then talk about it. So whatever you want us to do or fucking talk about, hit us up.
and as always, you're welcome to come hang out with us, have a
As
conversation, leave some
always,
comments.
yes.
I mean, that's what we want. We want you guys.
Yeah, we
Want to
we're
hear
on
from
this
you.
new we're on this new multi-streaming platform that allows up to six people. We can always recycle people, so that's also dope. So yeah, if you just want to come shoot the shit with us, man, hey, come on with it.
So what else you
So
got?
I think that's it, man. I think that's it.
All right. So we're still doing every Wednesday, 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
Is that right? 7 p.m.
yeah, yeah. So tune in every Wednesday, 7 p.m. We go live on YouTube and Instagram. Um, I'll say YouTube for sure. Instagram, it might vary just because it looks kind of funky. We might try other platforms, but so YouTube for sure. So every Wednesday live 7, give or take, 10 minutes, um, on
7 ish.
YouTube. Yeah, and that says two Mad Kings, coming to you. No wait,
I'm gonna come up with that jingle.
coming to you live from Texas. Great ending there. Great ending. We need to figure out
Nice.
a way to end this. But yeah, so for now, guys, like I said, thank you for hanging out with us. Um, we keep repeating 2madkings.com. Give us some suggestions. Uh, Head over to all our social media: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or not Twitch. We don't have Twitch actually. What's the one? TikTok. There
TikTok.
you go. That's the other T.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Follow, like, subscribe, whatever the fuck it is. Everything that you can do free, do it for us, please. It'll be a lot of help. What else? What else? What else? And this is Two Mad Kings signing off.
Deuce.